Pick the Nintendo Shack and pray. Frederick from Fire Emblem Awakening says yo.
Greetings, Koopalings. Welcome to this week's episode of the Nintendo Shack podcast. We got some cool stuff going on tonight, talking about Nintendo Switch Online updates, talking about behind the scenes of Nintendo Switch Sports, some rumors, some teases, some discoveries. I have Elaine here with me, reunited once again, and also joining us is Dr. Bland Explosion, who is here
Hello.
because he beat a game.
He's allowed to be here. He's allowed.
Oh, thank you, guys. You're not gatekeeping the show behind me.
We just couldn't take it anymore. We had to give you some.
I really wonder how you would manage the show without
Garret,
me.
Garret, this is not about the reality of the situation. This is about jokes.
Okay.
Stay with me on this, child.
I see.
I was genuinely wondering if you would be here tonight, and you are.
It took some time. Oh my gosh, it took some time. Anyways,
how many hours was your final? Let's just let you go first.
Okay.
How many hours was your final save for this video game, Garret? How many?
It was 85.
Oh, that's child's play.
That's not bad.
That's not bad.
Guys, this doesn't include the amount of deaths.
Oh, the dying. That's right. The dying doesn't add into the clock.
Right.
I must have put in 100 hours. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna check.
You can look at
on
your
the Switch. Yeah,
I can look on the Switch.
And it will say like a multiple of 5 or more.
Oh wow, we're all learning together here.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah,
hold on, guys.
In the chat
95 hours. 95.
You didn't even make triple.
So you only had 10 hours of deaths.
Only 10 hours of lost gameplay. That's a whole other video game, Bex. Like you could have finished.
I'm wondering it updates weekly too, right?
No, it doesn't update weekly.
It
updates every 5 hours.
Yeah. Why do you know that information?
Cool. Because I don't. Because it's if you look at your list, it only has games in multiples of 5.
In 5, you're right. So he could be close to 100 hours.
He could be.
I could be.
He could be at 99.
I'm not going back to that game though.
Did you enjoy the way it ended? Did you fight some ulti god? Are you good now? Do you never want to see it again? Are you burning the cartridge? I have so many questions.
All right, guys. So I love the game. Don't get me wrong. I didn't give up on it. I wanted to finish it. I absolutely love the gameplay. I could not get the secret ending. I couldn't. I must have ran into a bug.
Wait, I thought that's what you did a whole boss just to do that.
I did a whole boss just to do that, and I still couldn't get the ending. And I think it was just the way I triggered some certain side quests in the game.
Garret,
I think I maybe have misordered it. I don't know.
I think you should ask for your money back.
Yeah. No, he should start the game over from the beginning until he gets it.
I mean, I could do New Game Plus. That's no problem.
Garret, no, I'm gonna teach you a cheat code. It's www.youtube.com.
Yeah.
All right, I got you. Go look up
watch
the
all the
ending,
endings. Yep.
No, that's a good one. I beat like the freaking worst boss. I probably the hardest boss in terms of turn-based gameplay ever. Like this thing was absolutely difficult. Shiva, what he does is he calls allies, and every ally can do everything at you. You have he has attacks where you cannot block. Like no matter what, no matter what items you use, no matter what defenses you use, it will hit, it will be critical, and you got to make sure your buffs are ready or else he's going to destroy you. I had my character max level and I still couldn't beat it. Like I had like max level demons, I still couldn't beat it. I had to figure out different ways to like put different moves in my monsters in order to make sure I was good.
This sounds like, did you play Persona 3? Did you play?
I did not.
Okay, the final boss in Persona 3 has some of these challenges where, like, if you don't have certain personas and abilities, you're screwed. Just screwed. So
Then what are you supposed to do? How are you supposed to know that if you like don't look stuff up?
You don't. You just you
I
go
looked
through the boss
everything up.
fight. You could go through it once, realize that you have problems, but I burned hours on that boss fight and got wiped at the end a couple times. So I get it. It's very frustrating.
Yeah, and so I lost like 3 or 4 times, and I realized, okay, I gotta figure out how to manage my strategy differently.
Mhm.
And I had one. I just didn't have any really support characters in my party.
Yeah.
That's why. And so I maxed out a support character, gave them everything that I could in order to make sure my attacks were as high as possible and the defense of that enemy was as low as possible.
Yep.
Then I was able to hold my own. Other than that, you know what? It's so funny. The boss, that's an optional boss. I beat it, and then you do the ending, right? You go through the ending and you fight the major bosses there. Oh my gosh, it's a joke. Like, the pacing was terrible. Like, this optional boss is like the hardest thing ever, and then these other two were just like nothing. I'm just like clicking buttons, and I'm like, this is too easy. And it's like, okay, this is not fun.
Shin Megami Tensei problems. Like, those games are just, even Persona games have some of this issue too. Like, it's just, you know, such as, I'm glad you finished. I'm so proud of you. You can play a new game now.
Round of applause for Dr.
Everybody
Bland.
clap for Garret. Yep.
I'm free from the shackles, and then I put new shackles on my hands.
I was about to say, what are you playing now?
Now it's time for
Xenoblade Chronicles 2. I'm gonna go through
that. Yeah. All right. Yep.
Yeah. I'm gonna try to finish that up, and Torna. Well, I don't think I can finish Torna before. Triangle's gonna be in there somewhere. It depends on. I need. That's a good physical copy right there.
I bought a physical copy of Torna, right, for a retail price. Yeah. I did not pay up, so I'm gonna play it too.
That's normally like what, $200, $100?
Yeah, I got it for $60 Canadian, so it was even cheaper. US shipped. I got lucky. I got on a website that got a bunch of them. So
got a bunch of reprints or something.
Yeah, I don't care.
So random.
I don't care. I'm excited.
But anyways, playing 2. I actually wanted to restart it because I had no idea where I was. I was only 20 hours in before, and I'm like, no, I'm gonna restart and just start fresh. Have a good experience of it. So Triangle Strategy is next. Don't worry. I mean, like, I think it depends on how much fun I have with Xenoblade Chronicles 2. And then I'll probably mix in some Triangle in there. Nice. Yeah, JRPGs galore with me, guys.
Dude, what are you, bored? Don't you have like a job now? I'm so confused.
Yeah, I don't sleep. That's the thing.
Is this what not having children is like for people? This is what not having children is like, isn't it? Damn it.
Yeah, pretty much. We actually have time to do other things. Yeah.
This is right.
I finished reading or listening to Disrupting the Game with Reggie.
It was good, right?
Really.
Yeah.
I super enjoyed it. I'm really inspired the angle that he put in to disrupting the business, disrupting the game. It can apply to like pretty much any career.
Yeah. It is generalized life and career advice, I would say, in his wrapper. And he's a great narrator, so I enjoyed listening to him talk through his own book. So
for sure. Yep. And I'm listening his exclusive interview with Jeff Keighley right now.
Yeah, it's at the end of the book, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. So
nice.
Cool.
That's pretty much it, guys.
Dude,
I'm done.
I finished a game too.
Tell us about it.
I finished Horizon Forbidden West today.
Yeah.
Like during my lunch break today, I finally finished the story. It's really good. I'm gonna now turn my girlfriend's youngest kid loose on the side stuff. He was playing some of it and really enjoying it. And he was like, "This game's really good." It's really good. So I'll turn him loose on some of the open world side stuff. But I really enjoyed that game. I think I enjoyed playing this game more than the first, but I enjoyed the story of the first better. Just the way the twists and turns worked, it was just a little bit more impactful for me. But Aloy is so much sassier in this game. Like she is just in on every character. She has no chill, and I'm like about
I love
it.
Her.
She's the best. She's fantastic. So I have really enjoyed that. I have to figure out what game I'm going to play next. I have, if Garrett's backlog is the size of Jupiter, then mine is the freaking solar system. So,
I mean, it's almost summer. Are we almost ready, guys? Like
I'm ready whenever you are.
Okay, you're ready. Elaine, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Do you know what you're ready for? I know what you're ready for.
I'm ready for it though. What are we in?
Oh,
what am I in
yeah.
for? What am I ready for?
We can start it.
We all have to
Oh!
play it on our Retroid
Right.
pockets, though.
We were gonna.
Yeah.
I have mine. I do. We should do it.
Okay.
All right.
All right. We can start right now. How about like
Right now, we're gonna get it out
Right
right,
now.
Hold on.
now.
Let me
and
get
start
my
playing on the
let me
show.
drawer.
Yeah, we're gonna play on the show, guys. We're streaming it. Like I can just no, I'm just kidding.
Tell the
But
nice
you didn't
people
say what we're playing. Yeah,
tell
tell
the
them.
nice people what we're gonna play. What we
Oh,
agreed to
we're
play.
playing Golden Sun, on Retroid Pocket.
Yeah, we're gonna do the
on the
Golden Sun.
GBA emulator, and I think
I
it'll be
might-
like a little book club type of thing. Like
Yeah.
we'll go through, play some. I don't expect like this being my main game to play. I'll probably play about 4 or 5 hours a week or somewhere around that pace.
something around that.
Yeah,
I
same.
might actually play it on a GBA cart in my SP.
Oh, in
that
your
I bought.
GBA.
That one that I bought with the new
screen.
backlink. I think that's how I'm gonna play it because I own
You
the
have
cart.
the cart. Oh,
I own the cart. My GBA collection is pretty dope, actually. I ended up keeping all those old Castlevania games. I'll have to post some pictures. I have a decent
Ooh,
GBA
jealous.
collection rocking. But I'm excited to play it. I'm excited.
Cool.
So that's on my
Yeah,
list.
me
And
too.
I have to figure out what other game I might throw my head at. Elden Ring, because I hate myself.
Why?
Because I love Dark Souls games and I hate myself. And I think that all the children in the house think it's really funny to listen to me curse at something. And the girlfriend definitely is entertained by my. I started that game when it first came out, and I'm just like running around the world, and there's these sheep that just start barrel rolling down the hill.
Mm.
And she just looks at me and she's like, "What is this game?" And I'm like, "Honey, buckle up."
What isn't this game?
Yeah, that's
It's everything.
it's
And nothing.
and nothing at all, and I'll be crying by the end of my play sessions. Just
It's a
FYI.
good description of it, actually.
So I guess I'm between games until I decide what to play next. So what I did do though is I have a commute now to work. So I listen to audiobooks. I think I've discussed this. That's how I listen to Reggie's. Well, I grabbed Jason Schreier's newest book, Press Reset, which is considering all the conversations happening about unionization in video games right now, a very, very insightful read. Like I don't necessarily love his reporting style and I don't love the way he interacts on social media super much, but he is a detailed book writer. He does a great job writing books. So I listened to this all the way through, and it is a fascinating tale of like studio closures and people losing their jobs and how the video game industry kind of works on threads of money over time. It's really, I highly recommend it. It's very good. His first book was really good too, Blood, Sweat, and Pixels, but this one is also very good. So
I read that one. I need to go through the second one too.
You should listen to it. It's well narrated, so I actually like an audiobook for that one as well. So.
Cool. That sounds good.
Excellent.
That's it for me. What about you, Rebecca?
I dove into SS Tricky on the
Yes,
GameCube over the weekend.
Ooh.
Many of you know that I enjoy snowboarding, like real life snowboarding, and I keep saying that there are not really any good snowboarding game, like any good modern snowboarding games, especially on Switch. Like I feel like back in the day, there used to be so many good snowboarding games. There used to be 1080 snowboarding, SS Tricky, the whole SSX series, Snowboard Kids. There used to be so many, and now there's not. And it was a particularly hot weekend last weekend.
It was.
So it was like for mid-May, it was like 96 degrees, which is considerably hotter than it should get mid-May where I'm from. Sorry.
I mean, that's normal.
Man.
Sorry.
I was carrying bags of gardening soil. Like okay, mistakes were made. You were much smarter than me.
It was so hot here too. It was like 82 degrees. Like
and no humidity. And sir, shut it
So
down.
hot.
Shut it down. I'm coming for you. I'm coming for you.
So I decided to cool off, and I had never played SSX Tricky before, and I really was getting into it. It is a fun game, and it feels so epic to be landed. It took me a little while to like get used to it and how to land all the tricks and stuff, but I got very into it. And that anyone who's played it, I played the GameCube version. There's like a PS2 version. There's a bunch of versions, but just like how epic it feels when you land all these combos and the music starts playing, and I really enjoyed it. And I stand by this. There needs to be a good snowboarding game on the Nintendo Switch.
Agree.
Any developer listening to this, make a good snowboarding game. There's none.
Bring back SSX and make it good. I don't understand the problem.
Yeah, they really haven't made any. Like
there was that
snowboarding.
one. Well, there was Shred. Was it called Shred? Wasn't that one? What was it called? Steep.
I don't think that came to
Steep,
but it didn't
that's
come
it,
to the
Ubisoft.
Switch.
It
and
didn't
that
come to Switch, and
Switch
that's
would never be able to run Steep anyway.
I don't think it would be able to run Steep. Steep was okay, like as far as it goes for now. If people have other consoles and are looking, I know
something on.
I know.
Yeah,
I know.
But I got my
I feel
fill
you.
for the weekend. I'll probably pull it out every once in a while and play it because it's very fun. So
Nice.
yeah,
Nice,
bring
yeah.
back 1080 snowboarding.
Yeah,
Nintendo.
1080
Like,
was fun.
Please.
Please.
Pretty please. We get soccer in like 10, 15 days, something like that.
I
so that's
forget
fun.
that we have that coming up.
The
I
10th.
think Nintendo has forgotten. Like, I feel like they're not marketing.
There has
it
been
as
no
hard as they
marketing.
have done.
Yeah.
Like, they went hard with the Kirby marketing. They went hard with all the marketing.
Metroid, really,
so
they
far
went
this
in.
year. And,
Mm-hmm.
like...
Barely
yeah,
anything.
I feel like they're already diving into the Live Alive on Twitter.
Yeah.
And
And
as much
Xenoblade
about
3. Xenoblade 3
Yeah,
is
yeah,
out of
yeah,
Like
yeah.
a lot of
After-
Xenoblade 3. More Xenoblade 3 than Strikers.
Yeah. I think
So-
they know where they're going to sell copies of things, but that's just,
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to
Yeah.
Strikers because I have a bunch of children to be like, play the soccer game with me, please. Or here's my sad
Yeah, that'll be
face.
fun
I
to
think
play with
it would-
them.
It looks like a fun game.
The Strikers games are a blast. I loved the GameCube one. I
Mhm.
played so much of it. So
Me too.
I'm hoping this is good.
All right, on to this week in Nintendo. Just mere hour ago.
Mere moments.
Three classic NES and SNES games have been added to Nintendo Switch Online.
Like, the word classic is loose here, okay? There's three
Breaking
games.
news.
Would I call
Well,
them
there's
classic? I don't know.
Pinball for the NES.
Sure.
Pinball's
sure.
classic.
Yo, that pinball. Them
Classic
bumpers, though.
pinball. Congo's Caper for the
I
Super Nintendo, which I heard is a hidden gem. It looks pretty. It looks like
fine.
you
It
play
looks
as
fine,
this
yeah.
half monkey, half human boy who it's platforming, side scrolling. You're
So
trying
Donkey
to
Kong, but
go
not
across
Donkey
the
Kong?
world. Yeah.
It's collectathon type of
Yeah.
deal, yeah.
Yeah. And
Looks like
then
Congo.
Rival Turf for the Super Nintendo, which I feel like is the 500th game where it's a beat 'em up where you're trying to
Mhm.
save your girlfriend from a rival gang.
I mean,
Nice. Cool.
that was a time and place subgenre of damsel in distress.
That
of
is
time.
very 90s.
You guys probably wouldn't remember because you were babies or not even born yet.
Yeah, Congo's Cave was before we were born.
There's a question related to that, so hold that thought.
I'm fine. It's fine.
You're
I'm gonna
fine.
cry.
You're fine.
Also, mere 30 minutes ago, we got a behind the scenes of Nintendo Switch Sports Ask the Developer interview, and I skimmed it and I found some key points that are interesting to me, so you don't have to read the whole thing.
Nice.
Oh, baby.
So Nintendo was aiming for the world's most easy to invite to motion-based game with Nintendo Switch Sports. Do you feel like it succeeded in this?
When you actually play it, I would say probably yes. Getting it all set up, that's tough for people who don't necessarily play video games. So I don't know. Sure, yes.
Easy to invite to?
No.
No.
I mean, unless
Hell
you're
no.
handing someone a controller in your living room, if that's what they were going for, you know what I mean? Nintendo's bad at online. News at 11, you know?
Yeah.
Anyway, is this for Nintendo Switch Sports?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was easy for the Wii Sports. Like, why? Like,
But that
I
wasn't
don't-
on. There was no online play on the Wii Sports.
and the online's crap, isn't it? Like, it's not good.
Correct. It's bad.
Okay, so they failed
no.
that. Right?
Yes.
I don't know.
It was more difficult for them to implement an accurate feeling swinging motion on the Joy-Con than it was for the Wii remotes.
This is because
But
they
the ice
couldn't do it
cubes,
on the Wii
guys.
remotes. Because that didn't. Oh, I
ice
forgot
cubes.
about that. I
Fuck
forgot.
the ice cubes!
Oh, the HD's out. I like the hand motion that's so inappropriate that's happening off the side of the screen right
The
now.
actual HD Rumble with the ice cubes, guys. You got to figure out how many ice cubes are in the Joy-Con.
I just enjoy you just screaming, but the ice cubes, guys, because it makes you look like a nutto, and it's so good.
The reason behind this was something about how it's not quite the the same shape as the Wii
Oh,
remotes,
no.
that it's small. I don't know. They went into how it's not as easy to replicate, like, I guess, a tennis racket feel.
The jokes
Got it.
just work themselves on this one, so we'll just move on.
Listen,
I'm pie.
I'm
We're
not
just gonna,
Nintendo.
Oh,
just gonna keep
Oh, I'm
it
good.
moving.
Okay, this is the most heartbreaking part of the interview.
I'm broken by this.
What is
Go
it?
ahead. Read it.
Y'all have to go on my Twitter and look at these images, because they had many types of playable characters that were considered, from round-shaped characters with no arms or legs, to college students with a theme of intercollegiate sports, to robots that were in the shapes of carrots and burgers.
Yes. Why can't I have hot dog versus hamburger?
They
down
were
with that.
so
Definitive war.
freaking cute, and I feel like had they gone this route with, because come on, let's be honest, the characters in Wii Sports, it was the Miis. They were very
Yeah.
like iconic.
Correct.
And can you like easily picture in your head what the Switch Sports characters look like? No, they look like general like Xbox character. You know how
They
like
do.
they have those like,
Yeah.
you know, that very
Yeah.
Microsoft type, you know, stock character. Like it doesn't look Nintendo. It doesn't look very like stand out. You're gonna remember it vivid in your childhood memories type feel. Had they made these characters carrots and burgers and all these wacky things,
Well, that's fever dream stuff. I'd remember it forever. Like, oh, there was
Exactly.
a carrot fighting a burger with swords. What did you smoke?
yes,
What'd
you
you get
can play as
into?
a squirrel, but it's not like
You can play as a squirrel. Okay.
You can play as a squirrel.
that's one of the costumes. But I
You can-
go on
yeah.
my
Still a
Twitter. Look at these
costume.
images. There's a bare face costume. Like it's
It's-
robots.
it's-
They're supposed to be robots.
I like it better.
It would have been
I-
cool.
I demand a patch that let me play as an angry war carrot with an eye patch on one eye.
Yeah.
It's seen some things.
I wanted
missed
them to be a little
opportunity.
wacky. When I saw these characters, I'm like generic.
Yeah,
I don't
it's
know.
so
Wii
generic.
Sports
They're boring.
2.0. Like even the Wii avatars look more like full of character than these guys. Whatever. Yeah.
I
So.
think that they went very safe with it, and I wish they had been a little bit more risky and creative with these designs.
Get weird, Nintendo.
Get weird.
please. It's always better when you get weird.
Fun fact, there are over 650 different motion animations in the characters in
Quick,
Nintendo
Garrett,
Switch
show me
Sports.
them all. Go.
The ice
you look like the
cube.
wavy too. The ice cubes.
The ice cube.
You look like the wavy tube guys that are
Yeah.
outside
Oh,
all the
the
car
like
dealerships.
car
there you go.
dealership going
Oh
on.
my
Yeah.
god, we're a bunch.
Yeah.
This is
Wow.
what happens when the news is a little slow, kids. We get
There's
real dumb.
4 pages of this Ask the Developer interview, so if you're so totally interested in learning more about the development of Nintendo Switch Sports, they just tweeted it. It's out there. You can see
Go
it.
go
Cool.
read in depth about the animations. Garrett will show you
Garrett,
only the ice
tell
cubes.
Tell us about Platinum Games.
Well, guys, I think Dania is way more excited than the Nintendo podcast over here, but I'll just mention it. I really like Astral Chain. Oh, Elaine, you like Astral Chain?
I
too?
do.
Okay.
It's weird in Japanese. It's right up my alley, kids. Come on.
It's very. It's a one of Platinum's latest hits. Probably
good.
the latest hit. Yes.
It's real good, y'all.
For sure. I mean, I feel like this was inevitable. Because of course Platinum Games wants to, live another day, keep on going. It makes sense to do a sequel of Astral Chain 2. So they teased Astral Chain 2. They didn't deliberately teased it. It was a Kamiya was mentioning some games that were in development, and he accidentally tweeted out Astral Chain 2 and deleted it.
Good enough
That's
for
what
me. That
happened.
means it's real. That means it's
It's-
real.
It's real. Like,
It's real.
I think it's kind of dumb for them not to do it. It's like that's
didn't
just money right there.
It didn't sell that well, though, did it?
It didn't sell that well, but for Platinum Games,
They made
Had
money
a
on
hit?
it, though. Yeah,
and
they
for
made
a
money.
new
Yeah.
IP.
That's true. That's a good point.
And
And it
for a
was
new IP
only
as
on
well.
Switch. And I made this point on PSVG. This would be an optimal game to co-release on PC. It would do
yeah.
well for them to put it on Steam. There are a lot of people who would really enjoy it, and also the first game. So I kind of hope that happens at some point because it's great.
or I can even see like the Capcom Monster Hunter way, where it's
Right.
like 6 months
Delayed.
down the road.
But they're not doing that with Sunbreak. That's co-releasing now.
That is an interesting one, right?
Yeah, so finally they got that right. We don't have to wait 6 months for like the event schedule, but whatever. I hope this comes out sooner rather than later because Astral Chain is really good, and I hope they drop it on PC. That would be really smart.
Yeah, I'm curious when Bayonetta 3 comes out.
I was gonna say, aren't they very busy with
Don't
Bayonetta?
speak the name of the game we're never gonna see, and I'm gonna be heartbroken over. Come on.
Platinum Games
What do we
loves to
get
split their
first?
teams.
The release of Bayonetta 3 or the reveal of Astral Chain 2?
The reveal of Astral Chain 2. That's
I believe that too.
I
believe
think
that too.
I'm gonna cry big crocodile tears because Bayonetta is gonna be a while. So
we won't get Astral. It's supposed to come out this year.
We've heard
It's
nothing. What
supposed
happened
to.
with Zelda?
Yeah.
We heard nothing for a long time, and they're like, "By the way, next year, kids, come on." Bex.
Yeah. So
That
you
could
think
hurt.
Astral Chain would be announced this year?
I think it would be. It could be announced.
I think
this
it
year.
could be an E3 thing.
I was
To
gonna
be
say
honest
June,
with you,
summer,
and be like 2023
sure,
or I don't know,
20
like
or later. But
Yeah, I think Bayonetta 3 is still like either later this year, early next year type of deal. And then I
Right.
can see Astral Chain 2 schedule for next year, but actually going to be 2024.
I do think
Yeah.
that they will
yeah.
announce that before we see Bayonetta 3 come out. I mean, maybe it's just the cynic
see it.
in me, but I don't want to get heartbroken anymore, so I'm not going to get my hopes up.
They got to get that game out though. They got to release some good ones after the commercial failure of Babylon's Fall. That was not.
Oh, I forgot all about that. There's like one person still playing it on Steam.
Everyone
They're
forgot
just-
all about that.
They're just sitting in the singing
Literally
all by
everyone.
myself in the yeah. All right, what else we got, kids?
That was a rough one. Well, here's another article I found on gamesindustry.biz. They like to interview a lot of, games industry folk and experts and veterans. And Reggie's been there multiple times. But he was back again with them just to talk about kind of like the future of games, where to go. And he commented a little bit about Nintendo's future direction. And it kind of seemed like it seemed like a different idea than when he left, but that's a personal opinion. So don't take it home and run with it. So first off, Reggie mentioned the future of games. Okay. He talked about like the interactivity of an open world. Like think of like a battlefield that just happened. And because of that battlefield, it made a new kind of map, like an abandoned ship or whatever. And another player can come in and see that reckoning from a previous interaction. He was thinking grand scale like that. That's where the future of kind of new innovation of games is going. And it seemed really cool to hear it from him, separate than from like Nintendo or whatever. He's just giving his opinion on what the future of these games are. Another point was blockchain. He had an opinion about it. He really did.
He did.
He mentioned it's similar to like microtransactions where it's inevitable. It's like it's gonna happen. A game will have it, and it's gonna. I think he mentioned like there will be games that will use it and use it as a successful kind of token or advantage. I wholeheartedly disagree with it.
I disagree, but we'll see how that goes moving forward.
Yeah, I don't know if he knows the logistics behind NFTs. It seems like he does. He's a smart dude.
He educates himself pretty consistently, but who knows? I mean, the industry could
He
change
also
in a
has
heartbeat.
that business talk. I feel like he
he does.
phrasing things very carefully from a professional
much
business
so.
standpoint.
Agree.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then the last thing he mentioned is about the Nintendo Switch. And he mentioned, that Nintendo commented that Switch is in the middle of their life cycle. The Nintendo Switch is. And he was
How
like,
long
well,
is it in its life cycle? I feel like it's been halfway through its life cycle for like 5 years.
I know. And he's
It
like,
came
well,
in halfway through its life cycle in technology terms. Like, just
Pretty
buckle
much.
up, Buttercup. As long as Nintendo is still selling it, it's not
In
going
3
anywhere.
years, it's going to be halfway through its life cycle.
Yeah, totally. It's never going to
Hey
not
guys,
be halfway through its life cycle.
we did not
Hey,
peak
guys.
our Switch console sales yet, so we're still in the middle.
That's what it is.
of
That's what
our
it is.
of our
They
life
haven't.
cycle.
They haven't dipped yet. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that's
they're and Reggie's like, well, they're gonna have to figure out the future with the Switch, and that's end of his comment with that. And I'm like, okay, vagueness,
He
like
knows
it
better.
was
Yeah.
he wasn't gonna comment much more than that for
He
sure.
kind of can't. He probably signed a crap
He
load
can't.
of legal documents when he
I'm
left that
sure.
company. Like, he's not stupid.
You know what?
So
When I was going through the book, I was actually I can tell by the end of it, it was very fast, very rushed. And I'm like, why is
Mhm.
this so why are you going through this so fast? I want to learn more about you in Nintendo. It's
Nah.
like, oh, you really can't. You
Yeah, I
really
don't
can't
think he
disclose a
can.
lot of information
He was
that was
very
in those
careful
business deals.
about how he did that. And I have to give him credit. It's hard. You know what I mean? It's a difficult situation to be in. So
Yeah. Anyways, yeah, he just had some talking points. I'm sure he's loving retirement. I'm sure he's loving giving his thoughts everywhere and just chilling as a
Yep.
yeah. So there you go.
I'm gonna read this next one, and then
Yeah.
Garrett, you're probably smarter than I am to elaborate on it, and Elaine as well. I don't know. Was it Garrett? Did you put this one up?
I did
Wasn't
put
me.
this one up. It was posted a week ago, and I forgot to put this article on here. I think it's important, but yeah, go ahead and read it through.
Saudi Arabia's public investment fund takes 5% of a Nintendo stake. They made it for investment purposes. Their public investment fund also has video game stakes in Nexon, Capcom, and Koei Tecmo.
Mhm.
And they have launched their own esports company, Savvy Gaming.
Yeah.
Okay.
So another investment, Saudi Arabia's public investment fund. I've been hearing mentions about this public investment fund. I don't know if you guys know too much about it, but it's owned by Saudi Arabia's king or whatever,
Mhm.
whoever's the head guy there. And of course, Saudi Arabia's, practices and treatment to women is not the best in the world. And
That's an understatement.
that's an
Anyway.
understatement. Yeah. It's sort of weird to see this money getting sent to all of these entertainment type of companies. I remember them pushing esports
Mhm.
to be in the central of Saudi Arabia as well. And they actually quickly, like, I think the esports community totally like blew that off. It's like, no, we're not doing this over here. But they're creeping in more and more in the entertainment field. And I don't know how I feel about it. They have 100% stakehold ownership of SNK, which is the
That's
Metal Slug
wild.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
in the fighting games.
King of
I don't
Fighters.
think
Metal Slug. I like that. That's the first one you reached for.
well,
I
because
love
I
it.
think of Metal Slug Tactics.
Yeah.
That's a game that looked really cool, and I really wanted to play it, but I don't know if I can support giving money to that game in order to give money to this guy in this investment fund.
Yeah.
So
It's challenging. I understand.
yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think about this? Saudi Arabia's investment fund, 5% Nintendo stake. No, it's not a major one. It's still a minor stakeholder.
It's still a stakeholder, and then the question
Yeah.
becomes like, how much more will they acquire? You know, will they be able to
Yeah.
acquire more? So I guess I'm of the let's wait. We're gonna have to wait and see what happens to your opinion, unfortunately. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Crown Prince. Yeah, he ordered the murder of that Washington Post journalist too, and so
yeah,
it's some
he's not a
shady
good
stuff
person.
there.
Yeah, not a good dude.
Person.
Spoilers.
And he's just investing all these entertainment companies and video game companies. I'm like, it's not good. So just keep your eyes out for that. Yeah, and that's pretty much what I wanted to say about it. It's interesting to see a 5% stakeholder into
that
Nintendo.
Was a larger amount than I would have expected. So interesting. Yeah. But they're printing money right now, so I sort of get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah. All right. What else we got? Anything else?
I thought this was cool. I saw this on Nintendo Life earlier. A playable build of a canceled Nintendo 64 game called Simcopter 64 was discovered. Crazy. So Simcopter 64 was going to be a port of the Maxis EA title on PC. This was announced back in E3 1997. Along with Simcopter 64, Maxis' SimCity was also due to get a 64DD port, which Simcopter would be compatible with, but neither of them saw the light of day. A playable cart was found by a user on Reddit after he was trading some retro games with someone on Craigslist. It came along with some dev systems that I guess the guy didn't want anymore. I don't know. Who knows
Wild.
where he got these? Who knows where they're from? So the user who posted about this and got the cart, he plans to make a backup of the game. Dump the cart, share it online. He shared footage of the game's first level. The date on the build is from December 1997, which is after the E3 build that was shown. Pretty cool for game preservation, for game history. Anyone who's kind of into those lost legacy games, canceled games. Pretty cool stuff. I like SimCity. I didn't really know anything about SimCopter, but I like to see things like this pop up.
Me too.
So
I think this stuff is fascinating.
SimCopter, you're in a helicopter?
I think so.
I have not played it, actually.
I haven't played it either, but I think that's what it's supposed to be.
A SimCopter 64. That is very
SimCopter was just a PC release,
Yeah, all you have to do is type in SimCopter.
Oh.
Yeah, so you can see what it ran like.
Was supposed to be like the N64 port of the game.
Yep. Yeah, the PC version was a lot of people really liked. It's, a little bit of a gem.
Yeah, I'm looking at the screen of SimCopter. That looks
so
like
obviously everyone knows SimCity, like Sim Tower, all the Sims. Like this was another one of those.
SimCity ran really well on the Super Nintendo. SimCity 2000 got a Super Nintendo port that ran really well. So like it's this is very cool, and I'm a little sad that it never happened because I would have bought this in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Because I was like old enough to purchase it in the time, and I wasn't not born.
You weren't 3 years old.
I hate this so much. I just want you to know that I were just my knees. They're hurting right now. My knees.
I didn't get an N64 till way later. I think I was like 8,
like 9.
Something.
God, yeah. Bless it. All right, we're gonna do the questions now. 8.
Let me start with that question. This is from Ghost Days 99. Question for Garret and Rebecca. Do you wish you could have experienced the NES and SNES era firsthand while it was happening?
That's a good question.
You're just side note, your knees will hurt now if that had happened. Just letting y'all know.
I do. I wish that I had grown up a decade before and was, kind of growing up through the late 80s, through the 90s. I feel like this was the peak of gaming.
It was very exciting.
You thought SNES was the peak of gaming?
For childhood growing up.
Yeah, that was a cool place to grow up. But
that makes sense.
Like, just remember that arcades. You missed out on the arcades. We used to have one in the mall.
Arcades
really
was a thing.
That. They were great.
For
Put
sure.
up your quarter. Wait your turn. You missed holding your Game Boy tilted towards the street lights.
No,
we did that. We did that.
Too. But you did that with the Game Boy Advance.
No, we did that with the Game Boy Color.
Game Boy Color. Gosh, we were 5. Okay.
It's fine.
But I feel like I would have. So I tell this story a lot. My first console was the Super Nintendo, but I didn't play it in its, in its day. The N64 was out. Yeah. So all of my Super Nintendo games were hand-me-downs from my older cousin who had moved on from it. And so the only games that I grew up playing were the ones that I got from him, the hand-me-downs. There were no longer Super Nintendo games sold in stores at that time.
Yep.
So I feel like had I been born, through that generation and had grown up as a, older child, younger teenager, whatever, I would have, I think, experienced a lot more games that I didn't until my adult years.
Yeah, like I love the chat on this, Ryan.
We had the light attachment for the Game Boys. We had that.
You had the magnifying attachment. You guys had that because the Game Boy Advance still had these problems, which is ridiculous. Ryan commented in the chat, the 80s was a cool era to grow up in, though Elaine's point about knees hurting is too real. For real though, like I'm about to be I'm like almost 40. Things hurt now. You wake up.
I mean, we're gonna experience that eventually. Like
by the time
it's not like we wouldn't have.
You might have robot legs by then.
That's true.
We'll have prosthetics. We'll have a pill and we'll just be fine, right?
Oh, I hate this. You missed. I don't know if you guys missed out on this, but older people who are listening to this will know, real ones will know. When you went to Toys R Us to buy a new game, you took the little slip of paper from the row where they had all the games and you paid for it. And then you brought it to this counter behind the register.
think I
And that
remember
man
that.
sat in a room full of video games. And he
I
had
think
the
I do
job,
remember
and he
that.
would slide it under the little glass window to you. And it was the best experience ever. It was so
I think
good.
I remember that because we did get some N64 games.
Yeah, behind that. Yep.
And Game Boy Color and things like that.
Yeah.
I have a distinct memory of, and this I guess was a little bit later, the GameCube PS2 era, of walking down the aisles of Toys R Us and looking at all these games that I
Yep.
wasn't allowed to buy.
Yeah.
And there was, I will never forget it, Dark Cloud, I think it was called, for the PS2.
Dark Cloud, yeah.
That game is so good.
I
PS1,
wanted it
yeah.
so badly because the character on the cover looked like Link. And
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my gosh, like this could be like another Zelda type game that I like. Like I really want it. And my parents were like, no, you already have too many video games.
This was a problem for me too. Like when I was a kid, we didn't have like a lot of money, so we would rent video games from the corner like rental place and try to beat them before the rental was up, or try to rent the same copy again so our save was still on the cart. This is another old
That's
people
true,
problems
yeah.
one. It wasn't saved on your system. It was saved on the cart for SNES games, and you would try to get the cart back, the same one. You'd be like,
Right.
flip
Yeah.
flip
The
it
same
over,
one
and
a
you
week
would write
later.
a little
Save
like
file.
letter on it, just so you no,
Please
that
don't delete.
Pretty much.
growing up in that time was rad though. Like there were so many good SNES games that I still own, but that's still one of my favorite like times of video games. So I'm sad that you guys
Nice.
didn't get to experience it when it happened, but I'm glad that retro games exist for you.
That's
You know?
And preservation
Very
and
true.
emulation and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think I just missed the gaming like craze when I was a child. Like I loved Pokemon,
Mhm.
but I just didn't know PS1, PS2 really. I only know Nintendo and the Mario
Oh.
game here and there. Zelda, I just don't know why I didn't get these games. I just didn't really ask, I guess. And so I wish I had like siblings or something. I grew up as an only child. I wish I had siblings
Same.
or friends to tell me more about these other games other than Pokemon. And then I went from Pokemon straight to Call of Duty. I like licensed games too. I was into Star Wars and Harry Potter, and so I got those type of games. And my
The
parents
main
didn't know.
stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my parents didn't know any better about like what is the like games I would like, or I don't
Same.
know.
This is my
Yeah.
experience too, Garrett. This is exactly my experience.
Yeah.
That's interesting because like my parents didn't know anything about video games either, but we had schoolyard conversations and we all read Nintendo Power. Like that was how
Oh,
I got
nice, yeah.
information for years, was Nintendo Power, and then like game magazines basically. But and a lot of chatter between kids, like, yo, I own a Genesis, guess what I get to play? There were fights on schoolyards about that. Like,
See, we didn't have
you
that.
did
I
not
feel like
have but the Xbox and PS2 era brought those fights back. They were just different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I
So-
feel like our elementary experience was like Pokemon. And
Yeah.
It
we
was
didn't
really just
have-
Pokemon
Yeah, it
for
was really
me,
just
yeah.
Pokemon.
Which is nice that you had the united kid experience, because I didn't get as much of that. There was a lot more bickering between people of what was better. You know what I mean? Like,
True.
Interesting.
but I got to play a lot of games before the internet was huge, so I had the experience of figuring them out with friends, which was kind of cool, or calling the Nintendo hotline,
Yeah,
which
that's
Reggie
true.
talks about in his book, which was
That was
wild
pretty
to
funny.
do. Yeah, and I did that. I totally did that. So that's wild. It was a cool time. So.
Yeah, my answer is yes. And I wonder, had I grown up experiencing the NES era firsthand, if I would have liked NES games more.
Maybe.
Probably.
than I do.
Yeah.
Because
Maybe.
it would have been all I knew. I don't know. All right. Kyle the Pug wants to know, if you had to pick any game to speedrun that is not your go-to game to speedrun, what would you be interested in speed? I don't think either of you two speedrun games, do you?
No, I talked about this on
No, not
PSPG's most
particularly.
recent episode. The closest I came was trying to beat Resident Evil 7 under 4 hours to get an achievement, basically, which I did.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and I watched a lot of speedruns of that game to figure out how to do it the most
To go
efficiently.
straight there.
Those
Yeah.
people are wild, and it's cool.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Would you guys ever want to dig into speedrunning anything ever?
Yeah, the only game I've ever really dug deep into speedrunning is A Link to the Past, and I would say if you are ever going to get serious about speedrunning a game, don't pick your favorite game.
It'll ruin the game for you. Like, you won't want to play the
Interesting.
game. That's what I worry about too.
You
Yeah.
do find out really cool things about that game, though.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say if you want to do it with your favorite game, do it casually.
Or, I recommend stuff like Awesome Games Done Quick, which is like a
Watching
yearly.
them,
They're fun, and a lot of those people who do that narrate what they do really well. So you can really there's
Oh, that's
really
nice.
interesting. You learn things, and it's more fun than doing it yourself, to me. So
And the donations go to charity.
Big time. And they make lots of money, so worth watching. Awesome Games Done Quick. Or
Next
summer.
one will be in a couple weeks in June.
Yep, they'll call it
Nice.
Summer Games Done Quick. And they stream it all, so check them out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm not a huge speedrun person at all. Like, I'm a turn-based guy. I mean, sometimes action, sometimes go through a game, but I like to take my time, and I don't like to speedrun. Like, it just sounds stressful. But I think the one game I would speedrun and go over and over again is Metroid Dread. That is such a speedrun game, the most accessible speedrun game. Fresh on my mind right now.
Super Metroid was really big for that too, because there were sequence breaks, and Metroid Prime, and those are fascinating to watch people pull off. So worth checking out speedruns for those. So.
Nice.
TPR wants to know, what dish from Breath of the Wild do you really want to cook in real life?
What I would actually make is the
Dang,
terrible food. What I would want to cook. Anything with the fish and the meats in that game always looks so freaking delicious. I want to make it all.
I'm looking this up.
A mighty fruitcake. And I will not
mighty fruitcake. Why a mighty fruitcake?
Because she wants to be mighty, Garrett. Why you gotta have sir? Sir.
Oh, I'm looking at the pictures right now.
Me too.
Yeah.
Real ones know why.
Real ones know why.
Real ones know why.
A curry pilaf.
That sounds good.
Kind of cool.
Sounds good. I feel like my girlfriend is best equipped to answer this, because she when her kids played this game, they would basically give her the controller and she would cook all the meals and set it all up for them so they could go do the dungeons and stuff. So she probably has
a
all
catalog. These dishes. I would eat all of them. My gosh. A lot of
that's
mushrooms.
what I'm saying. I would eat all of this. I like mushrooms.
Link loves the mushrooms.
I like mushrooms.
I don't like mushrooms.
Really?
Why would you eat something where 90% of its relatives would kill you?
Because that's how you feel alive, Rebecca. Some of us are old and
they're not delicious. They have the most disgusting texture.
I love them.
Oh, I love the rubberiness.
Yeah.
Especially shiitake mushrooms.
Some good stuff. A big portobello. I get that on top of a burger.
Big portobello, yeah.
Blue cheese is so good. So good.
I would do the seafood rice balls, and I would call them donuts like in Pokemon.
Oh, that's right. Onigiri called donuts.
Jelly donuts.
Pokemon, you weirdos. Weirdos. Yeah.
Fun stuff.
Good stuff.
The Don Rab wants to know, have you seen all of the mini trailers for Live Alive?
Live Alive?
Live Alive.
Live Alive. Blah, 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 blah. He wants to know, are you pumped for this game? Will you be buying it day one, or are you lukewarm and gonna wait on reviews?
This is right up.
I have not seen any of the trailers. However, I am pumped and will be buying it day one, and I've purposely not watched a trailer.
Same. I'm in Rebecca's boat. I knew when I saw them announce it that I wanted to play it, so when I know I want to play a game, I don't watch the trailers because I just want to go in fresh, usually.
I don't think I'll get this day one, but I'm interested to hear your impressions on it, and I'll eventually get this game. It looks fun. Yeah. It looks like Octopath Traveler.
It's got that art style that I can't get enough of.
It's got that vibe.
It's got
and
the
the
vibe,
voice acting too, and I like it.
I'm here for it. Here for it.
Finally, Yarden wants to know, why does Atlas hate us?
Hey, Garrett, you want to talk about why Atlas hates us? Hey, Garrett. Hey, hey, buddy. Hey. Hey, listen.
Okay, so I mean, I'm not like I have my expectations where they are, so I'm not like disappointed. I'm like, that's about what we get. Okay, today, y'all, it was the dumbest thing. Atlas was like, here's a presentation
for Persona.
But okay, they mentioned merchandise and events. Like they clearly spelled it out what it was.
They
in the
set
beginning.
the expectations. Yes,
they set the expectation. I'm like, there's no games. Okay, that's fine. They go through this presentation, Okay, we go through the merchandise. We go through the Persona concert. You can buy tickets, e-tickets for that. Cool. That's awesome. Then they advertise macarons. Persona focused macaron character macarons.
Can you elaborate on what that is? Because I don't know what that means.
Macarons. It's the French.
She's holding a cartridge for Luigi's Mansion 3 because
Sorry, I'm interacting with chat while you're talking.
Yeah,
I'm
she is.
sorry.
They're a
French
egg white
cookie.
based cookie.
Yeah.
It's not even really a cookie. It is a pastry item. Usually
It's a
filled with
pastry, yeah.
something.
Oh yeah, I know what that is. Why they
Yeah.
have that? They announced that.
They announced Persona ones.
Oh.
They also announced a $500
What is it?
vinyl record player. That's Fire Emblem.
Oh,
She's gonna play Fire
Rebecca
Emblem.
got Fire Emblem 3.
Okay, these are not my
How's
games.
Oh,
Turns
okay.
out at PAX East, my
Focus
coworker
camera.
and I
You
know.
can
I
do
think
it.
that's Astral
It's
Chain.
Astral Chain.
It's Astral
That's
Chain. 'Cause I know
Astral
the
Chain.
A. That's Astral
My
Chain.
coworker at Twinfinite, Andrew, left his Switch case in my hotel room, and
you got it.
we didn't know until he already went home, and I have failed
You
to
have all his
return
games.
to him because I keep saying I'm gonna play your games, and I don't, and I have not returned them. So sorry, Andrew.
Well,
they're still mine for a
if
while.
If you are playing Fire Emblem, it's gonna take you like months. Like it's just long gone for him.
I'm
with
gonna
Yeah,
be
this
he's never
game.
completely
seen it again.
honest. I started the tutorial, and I
Oh.
got to the part where they explained the terrain effects,
Okay.
Oh.
and I got bored and I
Like-
took it off.
Oh boy, the
Got it.
internet's gonna be so mad at you. Hold your breath. girl.
that hurt my heart a little bit. Okay.
So I'm gonna try
Char-
Luigi's Mansion 3.
That's smart. So this
That-
Persona
you'll like
thing was
that one.
basically a bunch of announcements that were not games that were ridiculous, including a $500 record player. Like, I just stop making special events to break my heart, Atlas. Stop.
The
Stop.
character macarons is from one location in Los Angeles, in Anaheim, and then they had something else. Oh yeah, it was like Persona focused coffee and drinks
Yeah.
at one coffee shop in Anaheim, California.
Just stop.
What are you doing with your marketing?
They don't
What are
care.
you doing with? It's a waste of money. They're literally wasting money on marketing on these weird,
It's-
exclusive
Yeah.
one location bullcrap. Like
It's got some real "f you pay me" vibes. That's all I'm gonna say about it. Like, Atlas just does what Atlas wants. They don't care about you.
I
I'm
just
wearing
don't
a
get
shirt from Persona 5 right now and saying this out loud. Stop.
the thing is it's a niche audience, and when you are like I'm gonna market this franchise in one location in the
Yeah,
US.
who's gonna go to that?
I mean, I'm sure
Nerds
some
in LA,
people will go
but
to that.
like you don't need to put up a
That's
web
it.
presentation about that. You could just be like, "Here's our newsletter on the internet." Tweet it.
Yeah.
Like, come on, dude.
Atlas just amazes me with the marketing. It just amazes me.
Right,
I just think they don't get it.
Ryan in the chat. I kind of want that record player though. Yo, same. I don't want to talk about it. I'm not gonna buy it, but yo, like I opened the tweet and I looked at it and I'm like, this is ridiculous. And then I closed it and then I opened it again and I went, pinch to zoom. So
It's a record player.
but look at the cool stuff on it. Close the browser, Elaine, please, please.
Not yet. Soon, but not yet.
I can't. I'm gonna get solar panels on my house. I don't have this kind of FU money right now. So
Can I convince you to spend FU money because I spent some FU money this week?
tell me what you spent
what you
FU money
spending
on.
on?
I love this. phrase, by the way.
So in
love this section.
Japan, where Mother is actually respected as a franchise,
And loved. What'd you buy, Rebecca?
they came up. So they've been advertising this merchandise that is going to be on sale for like a couple months now, and this week it finally went on sale, and there was merchandise for all 3 games. And I had 2 things that I wanted. I wanted the first thing that I wanted the most was a plush of Boney the dog from Mother 3,
Yes.
which I'm playing this summer, by the way, finally, and a 4-side from Earthbound like mug, like a cup mug thing.
Yes.
And they weren't expensive by themselves, but okay. So it went for sale at 10 o'clock,
By
and
themselves.
I checked it. I forgot because I was watching This Is Us with my mom, and it ended at 10. And I'm like, oh no, I better go check. And so I went on at 10:05, and Boney was sold out already.
doesn't-
Wow.
And so I bought the 4-side mug, and then I went back on like a couple minutes later and refreshed, and Boney was back in stock. So I added Boney to the order, and the items themselves were not that expensive,
but the
but
shipping,
the shipping from
was-
Japan
Yeah.
was like 4 times the cost of like the item.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
she went all in. That's what you do. Okay, kids?
And
Go
Oh my
all in.
God.
it was like, wait, hold on, let me do this conversion. It was like,
Oh, you gotta go from the all yo yens to US dollars.
yeah, it was.
Japanese
I'm
yen.
not gonna
Joke,
tell
too.
you how much it was in dollars, but I will
4
tell
times the
you.
price. Jeez.
It was. I'm sorry,
Mhm.
I'm doing Google conversions here, and it's
The international shipping is crazy
Ridiculous.
these days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
That global market
That's
for
what
sure.
we do here.
I'm sorry, I'm taking.
Rebecca
forever
is
because my computer's being stupid.
She's
the
doing
math
all the coding
picture
right
of
now.
the Winona Ryder flyover of all the math right
Yeah.
now. Like that's what she's what that's what's happening here.
What is happening?
It was
Math.
13,500 yen.
Okay, I know how much that is.
I know how much approximately that is in USDs, and it's
Yeah.
a lot of D's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Man.
But
For
guess
a
what?
coffee
I'm
mug
gonna get a
and,
Boney plush.
I can't wait to
And
see
a
the
plush.
pictures of this thing on your
He's
Twitter.
so
I'm
cute. He's
pumped.
wearing clothes.
I cannot. It's wearing clothes. Oh my
He's wearing
god.
clothes.
I can't
Yeah,
wait
I'm
to see
probably gonna
pictures
get,
of
as
this.
Ryan pointed out, I'm probably gonna get custom fees too.
You might. That's right.
Oh,
Worth
no.
it. Worth it.
Worth it. Worth it. Worth it.
Worth it.
This is also another perk of being childless.
I got all these freaking kids to feed.
I don't have kids to
That's
feed.
true.
I
I
also
got to
have a
afford
meat-
a.
I have a me to feed. I'm a hungry hippo.
You got.
So
Gotcha. I got to afford a California rent, so there you go.
Mm.
yeah,
Can't
you
do
could
that
have stayed
type
in Pittsburgh and you could have hung out with me last week when I was there.
I could have. Oh my gosh, you went to the church.
I went to the church. So for listeners, I was not on the show last week because I had work travel and I was in Pittsburgh.
Mhm.
And the girlfriend and I, on the one night we went out to eat, we went to this brewery that's inside an old church. So it's a church converted into a brewery, but all the pews are kind of like, a lot of the pews are still there and everything's converted. And there were
Looks
pictures on my
awesome.
Twitter. It's really cool. And I really had a great time. It was rad.
Cool.
Mhm.
So
Lots of good beer.
yeah, good stuff there. Are we done?
Anyways.
Did we do it?
I think we
We
did it.
did it.
An hour
Guys.
on the mark.
Tell Nintendo to release more stuff.
It's
like-
almost June. Garrett, it's almost June.
Oh
Something
my
has to happen
gosh.
soon.
It has
Hold
been
on to your
so
butts.
If you listen to this whole episode, thank you. Like you
Thank
have
you.
patience. I guess.
And if
we
you
were
didn't, you
entertaining.
missed the ice cubes and the wavy tube man.
The ice cubes.
everybody.
That wasn't how it went down. It was only one hand, Garrett.
I was
Thank
like, ice
you.
cubes.
I needed that today. I did. Bless you, Garrett. Bless you.
Guys, next week is officially June. This is our last May episode.
Mm-hmm.
Things better
Things
happen.
happen in June. There could be a Pokemon Presents.
There could be a
There
lot of
could
things
be.
in June. Let's get some more. Also, games are
get
going to
a
start
Nintendo
coming out
Direct.
again. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Was it Mario Strikers? Are you getting that, Elaine?
Yeah, I'm gonna buy that. I got kids to make play
Alright.
video games with me. I'm gonna be like, if you want to get fed,
Rebecca?
I
Yeah.
did not sign up to review it because that would commit me to playing it, and I'm unsure if I want to do that at this time.
Sounds good.
I also don't know anything about soccer, so
you
I
don't
feel like I
need
should
to.
not be
It's
reviewing
Mario. There are power ups. You'll
You
be
just
fine.
kick a ball, but
I'm
okay,
American,
yeah.
also. That's fine.
I want to get 3 hopes. Fire
I
Emblem
want
3
that too.
Hopes.
Yeah, I want that too.
So,
Okay,
and
when
I
does
got
that come out?
But I know that that's gonna run like poop.
June?
like later in June. It's like June 23rd or 22nd.
Yeah, but it's
or
gonna run
something
like
that.
crap. Like,
Yeah, it's gonna
Age of
run like
Calamity ran
Age
like
of
crap.
Calamity.
Yeah, which was garbage. So
It was playable.
barely. Come on, Bex. I know you
I
like
had
that
fun
game.
with it. I had fun with it. It
I-
was fine.
It was not unfun. It was just whew, this mid-cycle switch is a real problem.
This mid-cycle switch for 4 years. So, you know,
so
problem.
It's a problem. Oh
Uh,
god.
All
Anyways.
right, that's
All right.
gonna do it. Koopalings.
I
Stay
have to go
safe.
to the
Take
video.
care. We will see you next week.
Woo!
Bye bye.